be here.
Great to have you as a guest in our program, David. Excited to talk with you about these questions related to evaluating outside counsel and other partners within your firm, within your practice. So let's start by talking about your transition. So you went from big law to in-house. What personal strengths really helped you with that transition and helped you be effective in-house?
Sure. So I think from my perspective, it's really a combination of two things. I think first, I've been successful because I've been able to effectively communicate with a whole bunch of different types of people. When you work at a law firm, you're dealing with other lawyers, either at the firm or in-house for the most part, that all have similar background that you do, and you all speak the same language and you understand things and you have a common frame of reference. But transitioning in-house, I knew that I would be working mostly not with other lawyers, but with almost exclusively non-lawyers, whether they're salespeople or marketing people or engineers or product managers or people on the finance or HR team. And so it's very different than speaking with other lawyers because you can always go back to, my first year law school class and remember this concept or that concept. And so I found that something that was really important to be really successful was being able to effectively communicate with a variety of different types of people, and specifically to explain complex legal issues to business people and make them understand why they should care. And then secondly, I think to the extent that I've been successful in being a good business advisor, it's because I'm comfortable making decisions based on imperfect information. In other words, I can translate the maybes that are the common answers of lawyers into a yes or a no without eliminating all of the variables or the uncertainties or collecting 100% of the information that everyone might like to have.
Great response. And of course, both communication and that ability to work somewhat in the gray area.
Exactly.
Those are critical skills in business because you have to be able to respond in a timely manner and you can't check all the boxes and you have to get comfortable with some risk. Any hints to those that are listening that have a desire to go in-house about how to get comfortable with that risk?
Sure. I think, and this is not unique to my transition or even the transition of someone from outside to in-house lawyer, but I think the way that I am comfortable with the risk or the uncertainty is I like to think that I have a very good sense of what I know and what I don't know. And so that when I'm operating within the realm of what I know, either from experience or training or study, I can rely on my judgment within that realm to say, okay, I know as much as I'm going to know. I know as much as someone would expect anyone to know. And I'm going to make a decision based on my experience and judgment. And if I'm wrong, so be it. But I know that I can make this decision as well as anyone else. But then when I'm operating in a realm of something I don't know, whether it's a subject matter outside my expertise or something that I have no experience in, I know where that line is. And I'm also comfortable in saying, okay, this is an area where I might not be able to make the call in the moment, and I'm going to need to come back to this. And I think having a sense of being really confident and having a strong sense of what one knows and what one doesn't know is critical to being comfortable in this gray area.
There are times when you are engaging with partners, whether that be on the business side or on the legal side. How are you evaluating those partners? What do you look for in those partners?
I think that as a threshold matter, my checklist is probably similar to most. Certainly subject matter expertise or technical proficiency is critical regardless of what the project is. In terms of cost, for all matters, cost is a component, but the degree to which that drives my decision-making varies. I'm generally not looking for the lowest cost provider. I think most importantly, I'm looking for legal service providers to partner with me that have a broad experience and sort of a seasoned judgment that goes well beyond simply knowing what the law is or what the statute says, but knowing how that law applies to my situations. I mean, what I found is that today, with so many online resources, anyone can find legal information. I don't need to call a tax partner at a big firm and pay $1,000 an hour to have someone tell me what section blah, blah, blah of the Internal Revenue Code says. I can figure that out myself. What I want is someone that's had a lot of deal flow or a lot of experience advising companies and people in my situation so that they can help me navigate the specific situation I'm facing. And so when I'm selecting partners to work with, I just want to know that they've got a lot of experience in counseling similarly situated companies on how to make decisions. And then ultimately that is sort of knowing not just what the law says, but how the law applies in these situations.
Having those examples, they've applied it before and they've seen what's happened. They've gone one direction or the other. That said, going back to your first point about cost, do you consciously think about cost as a value component? So basically saying, yes, you're not concerned about the actual cost if there's true value. Have you been able to kind of establish for yourself, what would be a certain cost related to the value that would be delivered? Is that something you consciously think about?
I don't know if I've ever explicitly thought about it the way you describe it, but it's certainly accurate characterization. First of all, what I found is that for most projects, the law firms that I'm considering are the partners that I'm looking to work with in the consideration set are all generally in the same price range. A specific partner might bill out at a little bit of a different rate than someone else. But generally, if I'm looking